They told you he was crazy. They told you it was a drug-induced psychosis, a mental health crisis caught on a 5G live stream for the world to mock. In early 2024, Ryan Garcia, one of the most marketable faces in the history of the sweet science, stopped talking about left hooks and started talking about the end of the world. He stopped talking about Devin Haney and started talking about Bohemian Grove, elite rituals, and a list of names that would eventually shake the foundation of global power. But as we sit here in February 2026, looking back at the unsealing of the Epstein Files and the collapse of the Hollywood glitterati, we have to ask a terrifying question. Was Ryan Garcia a victim of a breakdown, or was he the first major celebrity to break the vow of silence? This is the story of the king's descent into the darkness. A story that begins in the bright lights of Las Vegas and ends in the shadows of a secret forest in Northern California. It is the story of a man who realized that the boxing ring was the safest place he could be, because once the bell rang, the elites couldn't touch him. But outside that ring, Ryan Garcia was a man walking through a minefield of his own making. To understand where Ryan Garcia is now, you have to go back to March 2024. The world was preparing for Garcia versus Haney, a massive PPV event, but Ryan wasn't in the gym. He was on X Spaces, his voice trembling, claiming he had been kidnapped. He wasn't talking about ransom, he was talking about a ritual. He looked into his phone camera, eyes wide, and told millions of followers that he had been taken to Bohemian Grove.
Yo, Andrew.
Hey, bro. All right, talk to us.
Bro, I don't give a fuck, bro. They held me down and they made me watch little kids get raped. I don't give a fuck anymore.
Where?
Bro, they fucking took me to the fucking woods, bro, and they fucking tied. I'm not fucking joking, bro. I have fucking proof, bro. I don't give a fuck. Bro, I fucking will show you every fucking video you could ever fucking believe. Bohemian Grove is real. They fucking tied me down and they made me fucking watch, dog. I absolutely don't give a fuck anymore. Yes, I fucking lost it. They're raping little kids.
He doesn't want to take us all, so let's go.
Yeah, come on.
Come on, Ryan. He doesn't want to take us.
Come on. This guy. Bro, f this dude, dude. Come on.
Who?
Bro,
you
know the higher elites, bro. You already know who they are, bro.
No, you know what?
You know the path
Andrew,
you're going down is dangerous, my friend.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. They can't touch me. I'm a god.
Well, that's the first point of contention, because I care about you a lot, and I can assure you from my own personal experience that they can touch you, which is the worst part
no,
about
they
it.
can't, bro. All right, so come touch me, you fuck.
You have proof of these things? You have proof of this on your phone?
Yes, of course I do. What the f you talking about? Of course. If Alex could get a fucking video from the Bohemian Grove, of course I could.
Well, I have to be careful what I say because I'm in the middle of a judicial process right now.
You want me to get you out of it? I can help.
Well, bro, my door gets kicked in if I say what I'm thinking.
Okay, well, I can help you get out of it if you want. I know people.
Oh. Tell everyone at home then. Start from the beginning. When did this happen? Where did this happen? What exactly did you see? Why have you tweeted the things you've tweeted? Let people at home understand you a little bit.
Because I don't give a f, bro. They raped me, right? I was 2 years old. They raped me. I have proof of that too. That's where it all started, bro. Okay?
You do know there's going to be certain people who believe, and Ryan, you know I like you. We've been speaking for years. You know there's going to be people who believe you're just saying this because you've, I don't know, had a mental breakdown or taken drugs and you're repeating some of the things you've said on the internet, and so they're going to not believe you unless you come at it very coherently.
Andrew, I'll go to fucking Romania and take a drug test in front of your face.
Bro, you don't want to come here. you don't need Romanian jail. Staff your fight camp. But I'm just asking, like, you're gonna have to tell a far more coherent story from start to finish for people to truly understand that what you're saying happened is what you saw, and that this is not some sort of episode or anything else. This is my advice to you as a brother. I'm trying to make it, if you want people to believe you, you're gonna have to come along and explain from the absolute beginning exactly how it happened, who was involved, how you got there, what car you were in, where you were standing, everything.
Of course they're gonna want that, and I have all the information possible.
Okay, so when you're releasing it, how you releasing it, or are you keeping it for yourself? Because it looks like you don't want to keep it for yourself.
I don't. At the right time, I'm gonna release all of it, but at the right time, I'm gonna do it. They're already calling me to tell me to stop. I don't give a dude. I've already had a meeting with them. I'm gonna let you sit with that, Andrew.
All right, bro. Well, I want you to know that either way, I'm praying for you, and I hope that,
Thank you, bro.
you know, and I mean,
I don't give a bro. And Alex Jones has been singing the same and they try to the only reason they can't stop me because they listen to the devil. I listen to God. God gave me authority. It's over for everybody, bro.
For the uninitiated, Bohemian Grove is a restricted 2,700-acre campground in Monte Rio, California, where the most powerful men in the world, presidents, CEOs, media titans, gather every July. Ryan claimed he saw things there that no human being was meant to see. He spoke of the owl, of the fire, and of the children. The mainstream media immediately went into damage control. Headlines from every major sports outlet labeled him unhinged. His ex-wife pleaded for prayers. The New York State Athletic Commission demanded a mental health evaluation. They tried to frame him as the next tragic meltdown in sports history. But while the pundits called for an intervention, Ryan doubled down. He sat on podcasts and looked hosts in the eye, saying, "I've seen it. I know the truth about the elites. I know about the trafficking. I know about the rituals. They're trying to kill me for speaking, but I'm protected by something bigger than them."
It's the truth, and this is the dark truth of the world we live in, and everybody wants to act like it's not happening, but there's little kids that are screaming for help. Tim Tebow just went to Congress and talked to Congress and showed him a little note of a little girl saying, you know, after she was sexually abused for years and years and years by these people. So what happens is they abduct these kids, then they sell them in auction to these rich people. It was just Jeffrey Epstein was just the iceberg tip. That was just a little.
I can imagine if he's one player, then there has to be a lot more, right? There's not just the only one. So let's be honest.
Exactly. How did Jeffrey Epstein make his money? Nobody knows how the he made his money. How you think he made his money?
Oh no, wait, wasn't he with he worked for somebody. Who did he work for?
Not the much money he had. He had to be selling kids. Duh. Why do you think he had his madame, whatever her name is?
Giselle.
She was literally grabbing the little girls, boom, boom, twisting their brain, manipulating them, bringing them to the island, selling them to politicians and whoever you want. Oh, everybody's scared now. Nah, that shit is real.
It felt like a movie script, a young, handsome champion risking a $30 million payday to expose the truth. He began posting cryptic warnings. He talked about the elites and the industry as if they were a singular, malevolent entity. He quoted scripture not as a Sunday morning ritual, but as a survival manual. He told his followers, "If anything happens to me, you know who did it." He was 25 years old, a multimillionaire with the world at his feet. Yet he was posting videos from a hotel room in New York, weeping, claiming he was being spiritually attacked by forces he couldn't name. At the time, the consensus was clear. Ryan Garcia had lost it. He was a cautionary tale for the social media age, a young man crushed by the pressure of fame and a fractured psyche. But then, the bell rang. The narrative heading into the Devin Haney fight on April 20th, 2024 was simple. Ryan Garcia is a dead man walking. To the mainstream media, he wasn't a contender, he was a liability. He missed weight by a staggering 3.2 pounds, a cardinal sin in championship boxing that suggested he had entirely given up on the sport. He was seen drinking what appeared to be beer at the ceremonial weigh-in. He spent his final hours before the bell posting about the Illuminati, high-level child trafficking, and the dark spirits that were allegedly congregating in the locker rooms of the Barclays Center. Every professional analyst predicted a one-sided, embarrassing beating. They thought the system was about to humble the boy who spoke too much. But what happened that night defied every law of sports logic. It was as if the more unhinged Ryan became in his rhetoric, the more lethal he became in the ring. Ryan Garcia didn't just win, he hunted an undefeated champion. He dropped Devin Haney 3 times, a man who had never been floored in his professional career. Between rounds, Ryan didn't look tired. He looked at the cameras and winked. He was laughing. He wasn't just fighting Haney, he was fighting the very perception that he had lost his mind. In the post-fight interview, he didn't give the standard, "I want to thank my team" speech. He looked directly into the lens and said, "Now do you believe me? They tried to suppress me. They tried to drug me, but I am protected by something you can't see. This moment is the God-tier hook of the tragedy. It destroyed the incompetence argument. If Ryan was truly in a state of late-stage chemical psychosis, his motor skills, reaction timing, and strategic depth should have been non-existent. Instead, he delivered a masterpiece of violence. This suggests a terrifying possibility that Ryan's breakdown was actually a breakthrough. He was a man who had seen something so horrific that it gave him a cold, adrenaline-fueled clarity. He fought like a man who knew he had already died and had nothing left to fear. But the victory was a mirage. Within weeks, the system he claimed to be fighting struck back with surgical precision. A positive test for the performance-enhancing drug Ostarine led to a 1-year suspension and the official overturning of his win to a no contest. To the public, it was proof he was a fraud, a cheater who used drugs to fuel his manic energy. But to Ryan, this was the ritualistic punishment he had predicted. He claimed the elites had contaminated his supplements to strip him of his platform. He stood in the wreckage of his reputation and said, "They can take the win, but they can't take the truth. Watch what happens next." As Ryan sat out his suspension throughout 2025, his rhetoric moved from conspiracy to prophecy. This is where the story gets deeply uncomfortable. During his 2024 rants, Ryan had repeatedly mentioned a list of names that went far beyond boxing. He spoke of underground networks of leverage, of black books used to keep the world's most powerful men in a state of permanent blackmail. At the time, the world called it the ramblings of a broken mind. But then came late 2025 and early 2026, the unsealing of the massive Epstein-Maxwell document cache, mandated by the Epstein Files Transparency Act, started a global firestorm. For years, the public had been told the Epstein list was a myth, a nothing burger of passing acquaintances. But as the Department of Justice began releasing millions of pages of declassified files in December 2025 and January 2026, the names began to align with Ryan's earlier whispers. Ryan had told us to watch for the fashion moguls and the music titans who operated as scouts for the elite. He specifically hinted at the collapse of empires built on trauma by late 2025. When the Bloomberg obtained emails and the flight logs from the Lolita Express were finally verified with cryptographic metadata, the world realized that Ryan wasn't just throwing darts in the dark. He was reading from a ledger he had seen firsthand during his time in the Hollywood inner circle. The tragedy of the whistleblower is that even when they are right, they are never forgiven for being right. By early 2026, Ryan's social media was a graveyard of "I told you so's." He began posting screenshots of the declassified files, circling names he had mentioned 2 years prior. But the psychological toll was evident. He wasn't celebrating his vindication, he was mourning it. He spoke about the initiation rituals that young stars are forced into, a process of breaking the spirit to ensure they never speak. He claimed that his meltdown was a direct result of refusing that initiation. When you look back at the 2024 footage of Ryan being found in the woods, or the terrifying RIP Ryan Garcia post that briefly appeared on his own account, it takes on a different tone in 2026. It no longer looks like a prank. It looks like a man who had stepped into a trap that has been catching celebrities for decades, the trap of knowing too much. Ryan revealed that he had been shown videos, clips of children and powerful men that were intended to leverage him into silence. His refusal to be leveraged turned him into a pariah. In a raw 3 a.m. livestream from early 2026, Ryan looked into the camera, his eyes sunken and weary, and said, "You think I wanted this? I could have been a billionaire. I could have stayed in the club. I could have kept my mouth shut and been the face of every brand on earth. But I saw the owl. I saw the fire. I saw what they do to the innocent. I'd rather be a crazy loser in the eyes of the world than a winner in the eyes of the devil." Now, in February 2026, the tragedy of Ryan Garcia has reached its chilling crescendo. He is no longer the golden boy of the boxing world. He is a pariah, a ghost, a digital nomad who exists in the cracks between the industry and the resistance. The boy who once had the world at his feet with millions in endorsements from Gatorade to Dior is now a man who moves from location to location, claiming he is marked by the same entities that tried to break him in that Waldorf Astoria hotel room years ago. The irony of 2026 is that while the mainstream media still tries to label him unhinged, the facts on the ground have shifted. The passage of the Epstein Files Transparency Act in late late 2025 has unsealed over 3.5 million pages of Department of Justice documents. As the world sifts through the wreckage of the declassified files, names that Ryan whispered in his supposedly manic 2024 rants are now appearing in black and white court documents. He spoke of the music moguls, the fashion titans, and the political fixers who operated the leverage networks. He spoke of the grooming cycles in Hollywood that mirror the camp experiences he claimed to have suffered. He said, "People think it's a flex to be right. It's not. Being right about this kind of evil is a curse. I lost my marriage. I lost my standing. I lost my peace. Every time a new file drops and confirms what I said, I don't feel happy. I feel sick because I know what those kids went through. I know what I had to walk away from to stay human." The tragedy of the high-stakes whistleblower is that the system doesn't need to kill you to stop you. It only needs to make you look like a monster. By early 2026, the narrative surrounding Ryan has become a weaponized version of mental health awareness. Every time he brings up a verified fact from the Epstein Files, the pundits point to his 2024 meltdown as proof that he's an unreliable narrator. This is the psychological cage he lives in. He is a man holding a smoking gun, but the world is more interested in the fact that he was shouting when he found it. He has recently taken to social media to demand answers from Ghislaine Maxwell after her recent refusal to answer congressional questions. He is no longer just a boxer. He has become an unofficial spokesperson for the victims the system forgot. But the cost is visible. In his 2026 footage, the boyish charm is gone. The King Rye smile has been replaced by a jagged, defensive edge. He is a man who knows that once you see the owl, you can never look at the world the same way again. As we stand on the edge of his upcoming February 21st, 2026 title fight against Mario Barrios, the boxing world is holding its breath. This isn't just a comeback, it's a litmus test. Is it possible for a man who has seen the fire to function in a world that demands silence? Ryan is branded as the Ring High Stakes, a title that is more literal than the promoters would like to admit. He is fighting for the WBC welterweight title, but he is also fighting for his right to exist in a spotlight that he tried to destroy. What if the meltdown wasn't a breakdown of his mind, but a breakdown of his soul's ability to participate in the lie? This is the God-tier tragedy. Ryan Garcia became a mirror. He reflects back the darkness of the elite world we pretend doesn't exist. He is a living reminder that the people we watch on our screens are often trapped in a system that we can't even begin to imagine. He chose to kick the world in the teeth because he couldn't stand the smell of what was behind the curtain. Whether you believe every word Ryan says or you believe he's a victim of his own chemical imbalances, you cannot deny the impact. He shattered the celebrity archetype. He showed the world that a $30 million payday isn't enough to buy everyone's silence. He says that integrity is the only thing that matters on your tombstone. He has lost millions, he has lost his reputation, and he has lost his place in the cool kids club of Hollywood. But in exchange, he found a terrifying kind of freedom. He said, "I'd rather be a target than a slave. They think they won because they suspended me and took my money, but I can sleep at night. I didn't sell my soul to the owl. I didn't keep the secrets for the powerful. If this is where my story ends, if I'm just the guy who lost his mind, then so be it. At least I have my mind. They don't. The hunt is far from over. As the final waves of the Epstein Files are released through late 2026, keep an eye on Ryan Garcia. He isn't just a fighter anymore. He is a cautionary tale of what happens when a young man tries to fight the biggest monster of all, not a champion, but the invisible hand that controls the world. The tragedy is that even if he wins his next belt, he's already lost the only thing that can't be bought back, his peace. He is a king without a kingdom, a whistleblower whose clock is running out, and a fighter who realized far too late that the most dangerous opponents aren't the ones wearing gloves. They are the ones sitting in the front row, clapping for your destruction. And as the bell rings for the first round of his 2026 return, remember, Ryan Garcia isn't just fighting for a win. He's fighting to prove that he's still here. And in a world that wanted him gone, that might be the greatest victory of all.
Rich, poor, sad, happy, mad, I'm the same motherfucker. I'm the same dude that shows you I got big balls. All you have in this life is your balls and your word. And I hang that on everybody straight up. At the end of the day, I'm like Scarface, say hello to my big friend. No little friend, this is a big friend.